All right, how's it going, YouTube subscribers? This is Jose Trujillo again with one of my art sessions, painting demos or something like that. Today I'm going to be painting a seascape shore, and sorry about that. I'm cleaning my palette here. I made it a little dirty from some painting I did before, but almost there. By the way, if you guys, anyone of you guys watching that, you guys are artists, studio, you have your studio or whatnot. If you haven't done it yet, pay attention to painting on glass. You want to paint on glass. I mean, you want to use glass, not paint on glass. You want to mix your paint. So your palette should be a glass, is what I'm trying to say, rather than a board. If a board works well for you, then keep doing that. But you got to try the glass. Listen to this. Glass. Okay, this is a 11 by 14 inches canvas board. There we go. And let's get to it. I'm going to be painting a seascape shore. A la prima. We translate that in Spanish, it means to the cousin. Prima. I guess it's Latin or Italian, I don't know, for first. Something like that. Maybe it has something to do with first cousin. I don't know. I'm making stuff up already. It's too late to be making stuff up. Maybe we'll leave it like that. Over the years, I discovered something that I didn't discover. I sound so cool. It just sounds so cool when you say you discovered something. I discovered something. It sounds like, sounds awesome. I don't know. There's something to it. Like, what have you discovered, man? Well, I discovered. Anyways. I found out. I found out. If you're gonna paint, you wanna draw as you're painting. You wanna use a paintbrush, a thin paintbrush, whatever works for you. I don't know, to draw the subject, right? Whatever it is. It comes in handy. It not only it promotes awesomeness, but it comes handy. I learned that when I used to do portraits. I used to do a lot of portrait painting back in the day. Not so long ago. This is one of the cool things about Impressionism. Just, I don't know, some people might not like what I'm going to say, but you play it by ear a lot. You play it by ear. Maybe some people are like, amateurs play it by ear, the rest of us have a system. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't have a system. I'm sorry if I'm making anyone feel like I said something horrible, but I don't have a system. My system is, hey, do I like it? Am I feeling it? You know, is it singing? If it's not singing, it's not, you know, it's just not for me. I remember reading that Renoir used to say that he had to enjoy it, right? Painting. Then I also read that he said something. I sound like those guys that are like, you know, the first pioneers, or the, you know, like playing the same, you know, the same rule, using the same rules people back in the day used. I don't know, but anyways, maybe it's worth looking into it. But I remember reading about Renoir saying that what he cared about when he was creating a portrait painting, right, was if he could feel like he could pinch the cheek or the nose, something like that, of his sitter, right, and that was enough for him, right? I was like, if I can feel, if I can have the, I guess that sensation, you know, that the feeling that you can, that I can pinch the nose, then I did my job, sort of deal, right? I don't know, you know, it works for him. It worked. It worked actually. That's what he was cool with that. For me, it's not that. I'm not into the just let's get it 3 dimensional. I don't really know what's in it, you know, for me. I just know that I have this thing, that this feeling, you know. It's more like a feeling, you know. If it starts singing, I'm gonna recognize it. If it doesn't, it's just like a little feeling, you know. If it doesn't, then it doesn't, and you know, let's move on. I don't know. It's not that. It can get very philosophical. You guys that follow, the three of you that have been following me, can probably see that it does get. I can get pretty. I can get pretty out there when it comes to explaining this stuff. But those are just, you know, opinions of one man. One very cool man like me. I think the mystery has always been the same. I may be wrong, but these are the opinions of one man, okay? I believe that the mystery has always been the same. It has always somehow been around simplicity. Whether it was simplicity by brushwork, the most common one that we see, right? One of the most common ones, anyways. You know, called kind of like what I do. Some people call it minimalist impressionism or minimalism or whatever. I heard terms like that. So you know, people spend their time coming up with terms. I heard those terms. The other could be subject matter. You know, something extremely realistic and hyperrealism or whatever, but the subject matter is still simple. And something can have a lot of movement, but the emotion is rather simple. And one of the ones that popped to my mind is Chuck Close. You know, his portraits, his later portraits, seem to have that magic, that mystique. Right? The expressions are very natural, very simple. But that which creates the expressions, the whole, you know, thing around it, is full of movement and you know, it's very vibrant. But nevertheless, when you really sit there and look at them, at least for me, right, I get the sensation of a simplicity. even with all that movement. I see. The reason I'm going after this is because, or I'm going around this, is because I truly believe that work of art, a work of art, for a work of art, I guess, to be successful, it has to be. There is no option. Yeah? I'm very black and white when it comes to this. It has to have a level of simplicity. This is for me, right? This is how I look at things. If the work of art doesn't have that level of simplicity, I don't. I think that it's regardless of whatever. I don't think it has reached maturity. And I don't care if it looks like a photograph, like most people, like, oh my God, that looks like a photograph. It has nothing to do with that. I don't care if it looks like, something created by Pollock, Jackson Pollock. Right? Well, what other? Maybe his brother. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I believe that what creates the art so damn magical is its simplicity. I mean that, I really do. It's like it's like a good song, you hear these songs by some artists who are. I'm gonna give you an example, right? Those music lovers out there. The Beatles, right? You hear the music and you're like, oh my God, it's so, well composed and blah, 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 blah. But really, when you pay attention to the Beatles, they have like 5 songs, right, in one song. Like they go through all this whole cycle, right? These like different cycles in the same song. A perfect recipe, right? Make it short and make it, change it, right? But the simplicity is still there. It's so crazy, To me, it's so crazy that it doesn't matter that the composition changes in order to keep, maybe, I don't know, I assume, the listener intrigued. The simplicity is still there. The simplicity doesn't leave the table. And you could hear, I could definitely, see that or hear that in George Harrison's way of playing and the composition, the vocals. Anyways, I'm getting off track here. But maybe you guys have different. Of course, you guys have different opinions. Everyone has different opinions. But this is my video, so these are my opinions. Yeah, you have different opinions. Please post them on the bottom of the video. Please post your comments and opinions. I saw that a lot in the old masters too. Caravaggio. I know I'm building a case here for you guys, but bear with me. Look at Caravaggio's paintings. Any painting. You can see in any painting, you can really see that idea of I want to say something like a majestic, royal simplicity, majestic simplicity. Very, very, very well done. The Greco, right? Also, very the subject is, it has a lot of movement. You have all these contortionist type of figures, right? And yet there's a simplicity to the subject, even though there's so much movement happening. This is what I like about Impressionism. There's all this movement, there's all this movement that's happening, and yet one is only striving, I believe, this is my case anyway, in my case, for simplicity. even with all this movement, especially the more of the painters like Van Gogh, right? Seurat, the pointillist, creates all this movement to depict something so simple. Very nice. Also done by Dali, right? Very nice. He creates all these hyper-realistic scenes, and yet I believe when I look at it, I have this feeling of the man was striving for it's like a ritual for artists. I don't know. It's like a sacred thing. Whether they know it or not, I believe. And yet they strive to achieve the simple. It's power. It's power. I personally believe that simplicity is my religion when it comes to art. I practice, or I try to. I don't always get away with it. Usually I never get away with it. Maybe every 100th painting I feel like I get closer to that. It's you want to do and not do, and I don't know. Something like that. It's I used to hear this when I was young, when I was a kid in Mexico, right? I used to see the guys. I'm from Guadalajara, Mexico, right? And I used to see these guys lay brick, and I used to hear them. The manager, the superintendent, tell the newbies, right? Or the guys who were barely learning the skill, because they were very skillful at laying that brick or the rock pavers on the streets or whatever. And I used to hear the guys say, "I want to see it as if it was born there." You know, I want you to lay the brick, and it always intrigued me every time I heard that. Every time I went for the tortillas or whatever I was going after in the mornings, seeing the guys work, and I would hear that. I was always intrigued by that. I never understood what they meant. I had a sensation. I think I had a feeling of kind of understanding that, but it wasn't until later when I started growing up that I was like, oh, I see what these guys are talking about, or were talking about. They weren't talking about perfection. At first I thought they were talking about perfection, but no. Effortless. I want the bricks to look as if they were born there. I didn't put them there. That's how effortless I want it to be. What a beautiful thing. Then I heard, I didn't hear, I read, yeah, that would have been cool if I would have heard Monet. I read this saying that Monet, this quote, "I want to paint as the bird sings," right? And that saying also played in my head, like, well, what did Monsieur Monet mean by that? I want to paint as a bird sings. What did he mean by that? Well, how does a bird sing? At first I thought he wants to paint beautiful, like how beautiful a bird sings. But I was like, nah, that couldn't have been it. That couldn't have been it. That is way way not philosophical. And from what I understand, Monet was a simple guy, but he he used to observe. They called him the eye, you know. I think Cezanne referred to him as the eye. So that means that he had some sort of magic. If a person can observe, just observe, not use the analytical mind for whatever they do with their craft. If they have that ability, or they've developed, it's not an ability, if they develop that, I believe that they're tapping into something else. And I think that he meant, I want to sing, I want to paint as the bird sings, as effortlessly as a bird sings. I don't think he meant beautiful. Maybe he did, I don't know. Maybe he did. But when I hear that, I don't know, I take it Zen. I take it Zen. I think he meant something else. I think that if he spent so much time observing, seeing things differently, if he was an observer of nature, like we know that Da Vinci was also a pupil of nature, and he was tapping into something else, like Van Gogh, I think. I think Van Gogh tapped into something else. It would have been good if Van Gogh would have tapped into selling his paintings. That would have been helpful too for him. But I think it would be good for me to tap into selling my paintings. But it would have helped Van Gogh a lot more, I think. I think it was a little harder to be an artist for him. So there we go. My name is Jose Trujillo. I am not Van Gogh. I am not Monet. I am not any of those dead guys. I am alive. I am painting here. Thank you so much for watching. And I look forward to sharing more of my work later with you guys. Bye-bye.